Oregon's latest commit is four-star wide receiver Messiah Hampton, recruiting analyst and host of the Portal podcast, Brian Smith here to discuss. You're my go-to film guy, Brian. I watch film. I have thoughts and reactions, but I'll give you benefit of the doubt on being better at that than me, seeing as how you've got a couple of decades. Just give me some time. Give me some time hosting my two shows. I'll get there one day, maybe, possibly. But what do you like about one of the 10 best wide receivers in the class of 2026 who is pledged to Oregon?
Well, number one, I've seen him live a couple of times, and that really helps. This kid has a very polished game for a high school kid, especially for an upstate New York kid. So random, but he loves it. He will literally go out and do drills in the snow in upstate New York and send out the film. That is the definition of dedication. I don't know anybody else to do that, but good for him. And he's the kid's got great hands. He's got really, really good route running in the intermediate area. Like most kids, either they run go balls or screens when they're young. He's been coached by somebody that knew what they were doing. So this is a guy that can play a lot earlier than what most wide receivers, even like at Oregon, which obviously they don't have any problem getting receiver talent. I think he'll play by his sophomore year. If he played as a freshman, someone was in the rotation, wouldn't surprise me.
What do you think his upward ceiling is based on what you know about him right now? Because I've looked at him and compared him to a couple Ducks receivers in the past. I had one person say that his film reminds him of Trayshawn Holden, who was at Alabama and then played at Oregon the last couple of years. I didn't hate that comparison. They have a similar-ish kind of frame. I think Holden's maybe a little bit taller, but what do you see as kind of his utmost potential as a college football player?
He's the guy that will be your volume receiver. He is somebody that will maybe lead them in receptions, but not necessarily yards per catch, but he will be your money player. He's the third down, annoying wide receiver that will learn every position, that will be in the slot on one play, run jet motion on another, running back, whatever they have to do, and he'll be the guy that won't drop any passes. So he may not be a first-round pick. Just depends, like all that stuff, track times and all that. We'll see what he ends up running. But I bet you he's a guy that catches over 100 balls at Oregon. So you'll obviously take that. So.
Right? Yes. Absolutely. Is there a trait about him that stands out more than the others, or that's helped him get identified on the recruiting circuit as one of the top 10 at his position in the class of 2026?
Route running's up there, but probably eye discipline. Even the elite kids, like Cedarian Morgan's a kid I know well. I live in Alabama. He's national top 25 kid, 6'5", 215. If Cedarian had the eye discipline and the route running that Messiah Hampton did, he'd be the number one player in the country. So Messiah just doesn't drop the ball. Over the shoulder, out route, screen, anything he does, it's out in front of him. He projects everything. He tucks away. Everything is crisp. It's what a wide receiver coach wants to see out of a high school kid. And again, it's just so random because he's from upstate New York. But as they say, you go where the talent is. In Oregon, nobody doesn't quite like the Ducks when it comes to finding talent all around the United States.
Yeah, 6'1", 180 pounds, 180, 190 is what he's listed at right now. Right. I also had the thought of Emeka Ibuka at Ohio State when I saw him.
Great comparison.
Like just everything that when I've watched Ibuka over the last couple of years, especially last season, he's just kind of good at everything. Like he's not a specialty receiver in that he's a deep threat guy, or he's a screen guy, or he's a short route runner like Tez Johnson was, and a merchant just cooking you over the middle. Like he's just good at everything. He's not necessarily like the best at one particular thing in the class, but he's just good at everything across the board. Is this someone who you think plays at a weight under 200 pounds, or do you think he could bulk up a little, still keep his speed, and just be one of those physical, big-bodied sort of guys?
I would think that's a pretty good way to put it. 195, 200 is fine. Route running, I know it's not the same level of production, but his style, and I say this because I'm from Indiana, I'm a Colts fan, Reggie Wayne would be another style. Reggie was fast, but he wasn't 4.3. But Reggie, in and out of his breaks, nobody stayed with him. That's why he's one of the greatest players of all time. That's the style that Messiah Hampton would be. So I think that he can play at 195, 200 pounds. He'll be your guy in the red zone and on third down that you don't want to be one-on-one with. It's really hard. If you don't get hands on him at the line, he's going to be a handful in other ways.
Yeah, Chase Cota is another name that comes to mind. Like fast, but not the fastest. Big, but not the biggest. Solid. Well, just solid across the board. So I enjoy hearing all of that. And I think playing for him as a true freshman is going to be tough at Oregon. I
Yeah,
really
they
do.
got depth. They got
Yeah,
depth.
well, because we also have to remember Gatlin Bear, the 5-star from 2024. He's coming in for the class of 2026. You add on him on top of Jurion Dickey, DeCorian Moore will be back, Jeremiah McClellan's in there. And then we don't know about Evan Stewart. And one of my listeners wanted me to ask you about this, and I wanted your thoughts as well. The interesting conundrum Evan Stewart has in front of him is pretty varied in that he's got an injury, likely out for the entire season, could easily come back, doesn't have to come back. He could just go to the NFL draft, but he could come back to Oregon. He could also transfer somewhere, but I can't see him having any issue getting another year of eligibility given that he won't play a single snap of college football this year. So in your experience in the scouting community, what happens when a guy who was projected to be probably a second or third, maybe fourth round pick, but probably a second or third round pick at wide receiver, if he doesn't play a single snap this year, which is my personal expectation, is there any chance he still winds up going to the NFL draft in your view, or does he need to come back and play another season if he wants to get drafted?
Unless he's going to run sub 4.3 or at least sub 4.4, it would not be advisable. Production matters at that spot, especially with the NFL being a high volume passing league. Durability, I mean, this thing's been around forever. Your best ability is your
availability.
Yeah, there it is. So if you do not come back, is that a good idea? Plus, I'll just say it. You're going to get compensated at Oregon, unlike most programs. So why would you risk that when you could make $1 million at Oregon? I don't want to say they're going to just take him in slow, but like he's not going to be forced into anything. He's got over a year until he'd play again. I can't see why you wouldn't take that option. Now, 10 years ago, it'd be a different situation. You might leave because you're not, it's not the same deal with the players get paid, but I don't think that that's going to be the way he'll go. I bet he comes back and he's a really competitive kid. He'll probably want to prove that he's capable of going out and making a big noise too. So maybe I'm wrong, but coming off that injury, do we really think he's going to run a 4.36 or something? Probably not. That's hard. Like it's just the leg training for receivers and stuff and all that stuff. And all the time that he's missed on, like there are people that do nothing but train for the 40. Like that's who they just train guys for that. He's not going to be able to do a lot of that stuff for a while. That's rough too. So I imagine he will be a Duck in 2026.
I think it's more likely than not he plays college football. Whether or not that's with the Ducks,
that's also a good question.
It is absolutely on the table, no doubt, and I would very much like to have him back. Oregon's going to go through an entire season with a really young, inexperienced receiving core, and guys are going to grow into their roles in the offense and fully develop into whatever slot they fit into on the wide receiver depth chart. And then you're going to go through spring ball, and Evan Stewart will maybe be there for that. But you could go through an entire season and spring ball, not have him there. I would absolutely love to have him back. I do wonder, though, where he would slot in on the depth chart.
Which spot does he play, too?
I mean, because think about this. If DeCorian Moore, really starts to figure it out at the second half of this year, is Evan Stewart locked into being a top 2 or 3 wide receiver with the Ducks next season? I don't think he would be. DeCorian would probably be ahead of him because he's healthy and already has a year under his belt with Dante Moore at quarterback, and somebody else could be in that role, whether it's Jurion Dickey or Jeremiah McClellan. I don't know. That is going to be a regular off-season topic on this show once the 2025 season comes to a close. Brian Smith. Yes. Brian Smith,